right, so hey, Sandy took some of my slides, which is good, because I just noticed that my presentation may not be the right one. Because Stonebreaker, I don't think he's speaking tonight, because I put the agenda together. So be just, my son Brennan just, if you wouldn't mind exiting out of that, just going to one that's called Super Opp. It's on the, it's not June, it's August. It should be on this disc, but it's the August one, the top one there, yep. Drag that one, there we go. All right, so what we're doing here is we're excited about what we're doing. This is called the Super Meeting. You can see this is completely packed out. We have a few RVPs in the group here tonight. From Utah County, we have Mark Nichols' team right here. So who else has got a team in Lowe's? How about the Jim Leary team? Yeah! And who else is not? The Norders? Yeah. The Stillos? All right. How about Murton Bay Shop? Anybody in the Murton team? All right. So yeah, hey, we're excited. So so that's why we're jammed in here, right? And, but we wanted to do it here at the office instead of going to rent a hotel room. And we have a lot of new guests here tonight. We want to give you some meat and potatoes, show you about the opportunity. It's been a phenomenal ride. And I'm just going to jump ahead of you. I believe we do have the right slides. Sandy, as you mentioned, 3 years ago, Primerica became a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange with the symbol PRI. It was, we're now the largest independent financial service marketing organization in North America. Been in business since 1977, and we've done all of this since 1977, and not spent any money in national advertising. We've become #1 financial, the biggest, largest financial. So, and that saves the consumer a lot of money. A lot of companies are spending like $40 or $50 per policy just in advertising costs. A lot of companies if you see the ads on TV all the time, that makes the policies go up in price, right? And so a little bit about Primerica. We get a lot of press out there from just from the news, and we got a few clippings tonight, some videos on that. When the company went public, it was on Fox News. It was all over the news stations. And then Jim Cramer, I don't know if you guys know Mad Money guy. He's a crazy guy, right? He just knows stocks like backwards. People phone him up and they go XYZ stock, and he'll tell you everything about that stock, right? And so he talked about Primerica in 2010. When we had our initial public offering and we went public on the New York Stock Exchange, that we were the most successful, one of the most successful IPOs of that year. So I just wanted to play a clip from that and just to give you a sense of how some of the professionals on Wall Street feel about the company. So if you just go back to my slide, Debbie, I was about to just click that. Let me just go back to my, just leave it right there. Okay, if we just go forward one slide. All right, then volume. You got it.
I always like to say there's a bull market something. You can't afford to miss it. So what can we learn here? The best performing IPO this year is a company called Primerica, PRI. Worst performer was Mitel Networks, M-I-T-L. Primerica is the largest term life insurance company in the United States. And it gave you a terrific pop when it came public at 15 on March 31st, opening at $19.15, up 27.7% from the pricing. Thank you, Vikram Pandit, one of our fave CEOs. And it has since gone even higher. Stock currently trading at $22.20. That's up 48%. Thank you, Vikram. So what made Primerica a winner? How could you tell that this IPO would work? Citigroup was the lead underwriter, and they wanted you to win on Primerica. So they priced the deal at extremely attractive levels, and they weren't the least bit greedy. I hope the Treasury Secretary wants the public to win with GM and knows that Gordon Gekko is wrong because greed is bad when it comes to successful IPOs. That's very important. Biggest driver behind Primerica's successful
he does a whole big thing on Primerica there, which is pretty unbelievable. But that's a pretty good press. That's some pretty good advertising right there. That's like an unbiased thing. It's not like you pay some time and you buy some TV time, right? Maybe you want to turn the lights up just a little bit. But these are some of the biggest shareholders. Now these companies, they're professional money managers that invest money for their clients. And they've got a reputation and they've got a track record to sustain. But these are some of the biggest shareholders currently right now in Primerica. A company called Wellington Management owns 9%. They invested $207 million in their portfolio in Primerica stock. You think they did a bit of research more than your cousin Vinny does when he checks out, when he goes on the internet and checks out there. Somebody, they thought they bought a lottery ticket when they walked in the door to work here, and they didn't make any money, so they said it didn't work, right? These guys know about the company. How about Fidelity? You guys heard of Fidelity, one of the most successful, biggest, largest mutual fund companies out there? They also have about $200 million in companies like Vanguard, BlackRock, $138 million. these companies have put hundreds of millions of dollars invested into Primerica stock because they don't believe the stock's going to be going downhill. Obviously, as we buy the stock, they think we're going to go up, right? But it's entirely, what the company's going to do in the future is totally dependent on us, the sales force, entirely. Because home office isn't going to go out there and grow this company, right? It's going to be up to us. And so what we're doing over here, this is exactly what it's all about, is we're inviting some people to come down here and take a look at Primerica as an opportunity for either part-time or full-time basis, right? And we'll tell you a little bit about that. Now, if you look at today's, what's happening in the financial crisis today, America's knowledge about finances, is it getting better or worse? It's getting worse, right? There's three problems, which I think most people would agree with, that's happening when it comes to government and people individually. There's too much debt, right? There's people not saving enough money, and we need to make more money. Does anybody disagree with those things? Those are three things that are not going good right now in the world of financial services, right? In the world of finances. And so this is our business, is fixing these problems, right? Today's challenges, traditional financial institutions like banks have encouraged high debt levels. That's why they're so hated on. I mean, that's why these big banks and stuff, they're some of the most hated people out there, because they've overloaded the consumer debt. Their carefree lending practices have allowed consumers to borrow to their max and beyond their ability to pay, right? And a lot of people have gone bankrupt, right? Just because these days had an easy credit. You look at in 1 in 50 households carry more than $200,000 in credit card debt. 1 in 200,000, right? 1 in 10 consumers have more than 10 credit cards, right? And people used to think that was like some kind of an achievement. If you could open up your wallet and like have this whole string that dig down, I mean, a few years ago, the longer you could do that, the better you were, right? And today, people have realized that that's not the right way to go about stuff, right? In 2012, the IRS filed over 1 million new tax liens against delinquent taxpayers. That's 1 million taxpayers that got a lien. How do you think those guys feel? Right? And hopefully there's nobody of those 1 million people in the room here tonight, but I'm sure there's a lot of our friends and neighbors that are out there that are experiencing things like this, right? 95 million adults in America today have no life insurance, the highest in more than decades. I think the number goes back percentage-wise to like 1960. People today owning individual life insurance is an all-time low. It's because there's no competition out there. All these other companies, as Santi was saying, they're going out of the business. We're just not growing fast enough to meet the expectation. And so we'd like to see one day, you know, when a person comes down to Primerica, that we can say, hey, we have more people covered with life insurance than any other time in this country's history. But to get there, we're going to have to open up hundreds of new Primerica offices. That's just a fact, right? Otherwise, not going to get there. 46% of workers feel not too confident that they'll have enough money to live comfortably through retirement. This is Reuters here. U.S. foreclosure shattered all records last 4 years. 77% of workers report that they live paycheck to paycheck to make ends meet. The typical American household made less money last year than a full decade ago. Is that crazy stuff? How about these, right? After working from age 25 to age 65, this is what ends up happening to the masses out there. This is not even current. This is a few years old, so the situation is actually probably a little bit worse today. But more than 95% of people are either dependent, still working, or dead. None of those are good things, right? I mean, who wants to be dependent, working, or dead? I mean, I don't know which is the worst. Which one you want to pick there, right? But only 4% are okay in the most successful country of all time, and there's only 1%, and the 1% that a lot of people, you know, they feel jealous about them because they felt like it was maybe unfair, and perhaps it was, but the 99% of people aren't really winning in the money game in a big way. The 95%, if you count the 4%, aren't making it, right? And we feel that the reason is, number one, there's no financial education, not the right kind of financial education, right? They teach you how to open up, how to get a credit card. I came here from South Africa, and I wasn't here just a few weeks. I didn't even have a social security number, and everybody's telling me, if you want to be successful in America, you have to get a credit card. I'm like, how do you get one of those? And I'm like, you got to go to CCMI, and so they helped me get a social security number, and then the first thing I did was get a debit card, and then get a credit card, and all that kind of stuff, right? And one thing leads to the other, right? This is a new statistic that just came out. In 2000, average household income was $52,301 per household. By 2009, 9 years later, it had dropped to $49,777. That's a decrease of $2,524 after 9 years. That's one way to look at it, but do look at this. Taking into account the 3% annual cost of living increase from 2000 to 2009, the 2009 should have increased to $68,240. Right? So that really, and by 2012, another 3 years, it should have increased to 73,840, and it's really at 79,000. That's why people are 20,000 a year shorter today on the same jobs as what they were in the year 2000. And people wonder if Primerica can work, right? When we have so many potential customers out there, we just got to get busy, right? And we need more people. That's just what it comes down to, right? And the question is, does anybody in this room maybe feel like you need an increase of your income? Yeah. There's a lot of people that want to do that. We're going to show you about that tonight. Our mission in Primerica, our mission statement is not to serve the best hamburgers and the best donuts, like maybe a Krispy Kreme or McDonald's, and those are perfectly legitimate and good companies. But we just think our product and what we do for the consumer has a lot more value to the consumer, right? We feel our mission is to help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. Are any of those things bad for the consumer? No, absolutely, right? And that's what we're all about, right? So how do we do that? The way we do that is we do it. We help people with a complimentary financial needs analysis that basically is like a roadmap, like a GPS to show them from where they're at now to where they want to go to according to their goals and dreams and how to get there. How many people in America today need one of those things? Everybody. And how many people can afford it if it's complimentary? Everybody, right? So I wanted to show